Hi, everyone. Welcome to osTEAo, that's with a capital TEA, where osteo warriors in treatment and recent survivors spill the tea on all things osteosarcoma and cancer from the adolescent and young adult patient perspective. Listen in on our honest and personal conversations about our osteo experiences, stories, and who knows what else. I mean, seriously, we get off topic sometimes. This podcast discusses all aspects of the young adult cancer experience in a conversational format. Audience discretion is advised, and don't forget, like and follow MIB Agents on all social media platforms for all the hot goss and intel.
Some announcements before we dive in on today's topic. Save the date for Factor 2024 in Cleveland, Ohio, June 20th through 22nd. Factor brings together the leading osteosarcoma researchers and clinicians, along with patient families and osteo warriors, survivors, patients, and siblings of osteo warriors and osteo angels to make it better for those battling this disease. This work belongs to all of us. So collaboration with all interested parties on advancing treatments and improving outcomes for patients with outcomes through collaborative disease management approaches, clinical trials, and dedicated osteosarcoma research. We brainstorm on challenges and come up with collaborative solutions to fast track improvements for osteosarcoma, create a symbiotic bridge between the osteosarcoma medical and patient community to overcome challenges and create solutions, evaluate funding needs for research and provide awareness for worthy initiatives and funding solutions. And we provide a dedicated forum to review progress on an annual basis for various osteosarcoma disease management initiatives. So we would love to see you there. It's very lit, it's very fun, it's very swag.
It is very lit. It is very swag, especially HQ with all those,
Oh,
like the art classes and the flower arranging class. And there's always so much fun stuff that goes on at Factor. And
therapy bunnies last year.
therapy buddies, you get to meet all of us. You get to meet other osteo warriors.
Yes.
Maybe your oncologist will be there, and then you get to party with your oncologist. I mean, you never know.
You can
And
also
really cool
beat your
panels.
oncologist in what was it? What was the game that I did?
Oh, you did
That like
didn't you do Operation?
yeah, I beat my surgeon in operation. You can also do that.
Yeah. So if you wanna beat your oncologist in a donut eating contest, which is what I did that year at Factor, right before Vicky beat her surgeon at Operation. And you both had to play with your non-dominant hand, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so that makes it even harder. Factor is a blast. Highly recommend it. Cannot wait to see you all there this summer. Also on our slate, our MIB slate, we are pleased to announce the dates for the first Healing Hearts for Parents session of 2024. The meetings will begin on January 10th, followed by January 17th and 24th, and on the first 3 Wednesday evenings of February, March, and April. We also have a new program, which is really exciting. Healing Hearts Wellness Workshops for parents and young adult and adult sibling dates. Oh, and adult siblings. The dates for these are January 31st, February 28th, March 27th, and April 24th. The MIB Wellness Workshops in 2024 focus on the concept of wellness, emphasizing the importance of adopting healthy habits for improved physical and mental health. The workshops provide a space to explore and understand grief, offering an opportunity for participants to connect with others in the osteo community and nourish their mind, body, and soul. Specifically designed for those who have experienced the loss of a child or sibling or even a close friend, the workshop addresses the impact on mental, emotional, and physical well-being. Attendees will learn techniques to better manage stress, enhance mood, and establish a sense of grounding in their lives, empowering them to thrive despite the challenges of living with loss and grief. And I know we have all felt some of that. So I hope that for those of you who are looking for resources, you check out our new wellness workshops through Healing Hearts on our website.
Slay. So welcome back, everyone, and welcome to the first episode of season 3 of Osteo. Am I saying that right? Am I here?
Lucky number 3.
Season 3.
osTEAo.
Yeah, we got to get that promo in there. And innovative marketing strategies for Osteo. But nope, we are back. Happy 2024, everyone. I hope this year is happier and healthier for everyone that went through you know, whatever craziness that the osteosarcoma world brings us. So manifesting good things for everyone. We have a really exciting episode for you guys. We're going to be talking about making friends after cancer treatment. But before we dive in on that, oh, and we have our wonderful Madam President of the Junior Board 2023 here with us, Vicky Hoy. So we will start off with our favorite segment, What's the Tea? No, like literally, where we share what we're drinking, give it a good review, and yeah. So I will start us off. I'm drinking one of my faves, an osTEAo repeat offender. It is my blueberry lavender tea, herbal tea in, oh, there's a cat hair on my shirt. In my strawberry mug that I painted. This I put 2 bags in because I wanted to spice things up, get some richer flavors for the episode today. So let's give her a taste.
You gotta
Okay.
aerate. You gotta. Mhm.
So I think the 2 bags was a mistake.
She came too
It was a little too strong, a little too poignant. But she's still a fan favorite, and I'd have to give her a 6 out of 10. Mia, what are you drinking?
There is construction in our house right now. So I am drinking water, the true adult beverage, also a common for me. I'm always drinking water. But I also have a, second beverage option right here. This is the new edition, Guillermo Vintage 2023.
He's a beverage. He is liquid.
Yeah. That's my new cat. Anyway, yeah, so I'm gonna give Guillermo an 8 million out of 10, and I am going to give the water a 10 out of 10 because it's clean and it tastes like water, and water is my favorite beverage.
We are going into season 3 absolutely unhinged, more unhinged than we have ever been.
Coming out swinging.
Vicky, what are you drinking?
Mine's just like not unhinged at all. As a British mother, we have English breakfast tea, and that is all we have. So here's my English breakfast tea, even though it is 5:30 p.m. here. It's good. It's always good. I was already drinking it earlier. I'll drink it again. It's still good. I'd still say 10 out of 10. I also have to say, the bag that I've been using today, I think it matches Camille.
Oh my
We got our matching ones too. Also, it is blue, but my Zoom tends to go black and white after a while. I don't know why it does that.
Classic.
I
you
did
know?
notice that.
I
Yeah.
mean, so making friends after treatment, it is
It's a rough
a
one.
lot harder. It is not necessarily harder to make friends. It's just a little bit rougher terrain wise. Like there's just a lot kind of to get over to kind of have that true bond, not bond, but like that true sense of like a friendship, not just like acquaintances. And you want that support system. It's crucial. There is research out there. Obviously, I can't quote anything off the top of my head that shows that having a good social support group increases chances of survival, and just rates of well-being in general, when you have cancer and afterwards. So we obviously all want social connection. We're social creatures as humans. Doesn't matter if you're an introvert, an extrovert, doesn't matter at all. We're all gonna want friends. So, I mean, what are some challenges you guys have had? What bothers you when you're trying to talk to new people or kind of are in a new environment?
I can start us off. So as many of you know, if you are an avid osteo fan and listener, I recently finished treatment. I went through 7 cycles of chemo for a relapse, in which I had to take leave from the school I was attending, basically leave my social life behind. I became a stay-at-home child, with my mom and my 2 cats.
Also, stay at home child.
Yeah, so now I got good scans, stable scans. So I've kind of been told, go live your life. And I'm like, I don't have a life. And
Mhm.
my life
Yeah.
that I did have, it's not really a thing anymore. And it's very complicated. It's too late to return back to school and come off of my medical leave. And I feel like when you're not at school, and that's kind of like, that's like a hub for social connection, right?
Yeah.
When you're not there, people kind of think you don't exist. So that's kind of been one of my biggest struggles is I have a lot of friends. I'm known for um, getting along with a lot of people, a lot of different groups. I have my theater friends, I have my like class friends, I have work friends, like high school friends, college friends. Like I get around. I'm a social creature. I'm an
Yeah.
extrovert, but it's hard to stay connected when you're not always in their plain
Yeah.
sight of vision. So that's kind of been my struggle and something I'm currently struggling with coming out of my almost year-long treatment is figuring out how do I put myself out there? How do I rebuild my life? A life that is meaningful and is filled with meaningful connections and friendships. So think we got to pull from our inner wisdom, even though it can be hard sometimes. And I'm sure we'll get into that. But Vicky, what about for you? What is making friends like been for you?
Yeah, I would say that going through treatment, everything's very unstable. So you tend to like gravitate towards stability. And maybe before treatment, you're like social, you with like a million friends. But then after treatment, being more like introverted and only having like a few friends that like you really stick towards. So anyone that's currently going through treatment or maybe going through like mental health repercussions after treatment, and you feel like you're like blocking everyone out. I feel like for me, it's just kind of been shifting from talking to everyone, getting to know everyone. I was also like the athlete in high school. Like everyone knew me as that. I was always in the gym versus like now I have my two hometown best friends. I got my one best friend at college. I got my boyfriend, and that's it. Like that's my whole list of people. But those are the people that I feel like I can always go to. And obviously everyone from MIB, I feel like I have a connection with. But really being more of a homebody and staying at home and kind of finding your peace, even if that means having less people or just having really good relationships that you can confide in. But definitely a big difference, especially when things just change abruptly, but people keep living their lives.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's also
Mhm.
as I've gotten into my 20s, terrifying that next month I'm turning 25 and I will be in my mid 20s. Hate
Whoa.
that. Um, but anyway, as I've grown up as the oldest one here, um, I feel comfortable saying that it is truly about quality over quantity. I almost said it the other way around. That's not the case.
No.
As you get older, it's definitely quality over quantity. And obviously, it's very easy to lean on the people that you know the best who kind of went through your situation with you. But there are going to be situations, say you start a new job or you go to a new school or you know you just enter some new environment and maybe it's you start frequenting this certain bar. I don't know, it could, if for trivia, it could literally be anything. You go and you want to make new friends but you don't know how to kind of drop the cancer bomb.
Mhm.
Especially if you're still in treatment. Obviously the conversation is going to be very different if you're still in treatment versus out of treatment and in remission versus like I don't know where I am, it's chronic but it's okay, like it really depends. Everyone's going to have their own kind of way of meeting new people and starting that discussion. Personally, I just overshare. Then again, I'm an extrovert and I always overshared, so that's kind of always been like, hi, I'm Mia, I have bone cancer, but like it's kind of chill. uh it's not at all
Yeah.
chill.
It's in fact very unchill. I'm
Yeah.
quite literally hanging on by a thread.
It's like, please still invest energy and time into me, even though I have a
Yeah.
I have a chronic aggressive illness. But yeah. What are ways that you guys have kind of leaned into your friends?
Hmm. Well, I think it's important to take note of people in your life, take inventory of people that are really there for you and not just there for the clout of being friends with the sick girl, and people that will genuinely accommodate you, like no questions asked. Like
Yeah.
I talk about my two really close friends, Jackie and Arlie, that came while they were in town at school. They would come to the hospital every night before I would start chemo to hang out with me. We would get
Oh,
food, we would play a game, like we would just have a
that's
good time, and that
fantastic.
was really supportive of them. And then prior to my relapse, when I was in school and we were walking the down the road of our school and I was out of breath or my leg was starting to hurt, I would, if I asked, "Hey, can we sit down?" They would be like, "Oh my God, of course, like take as much time as you need. Like
Yeah.
we're not in no rush, like we got you." So take inventory of people who are like that
Yeah.
and take inventory of the people who leave when things get rough,
Hmm.
because there are a lot of people in my life that left when things got rough and have left when things got better as well. But people
Yeah.
that are consistent with you, no matter what stage of treatment you are in, those are the keepers for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely a big shift between being diagnosed, posting on social media. It's like, oh my gosh, like you're so strong, we believe in you. You share the treatment and they're like reading it, and then it's like, oh, I finished treatment. Oh, that's great. That's
Oh,
it.
you're all done.
Like you're
You're
done.
cured. It's
Yeah,
over.
you're fine. Yeah. No, it's not.
Like, can I just get a
Temporary.
regular fire emoji instead of just like a you're the strongest warrior? You know what I mean? Like, so glad to see you out there thriving. Like, yeah, I know it took me a lot to get here, but you can just talk to me like I'm a normal human
Yeah.
being.
Yeah.
I think it's important, again, to have friends that will be there for you after treatment ends,
Yes.
because that is a whole new can of worms, of adjusting to the new normal, and and the mental health stuff that comes from that, um, from basically your oncologist being like, "Oh, we're actually going to give you like 24/7 care and follow your labs like every single day," to "See you in 3 months."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, the drop in, like, that was your entire life, and that drop is, like, shell shocking almost.
Almost feels like a
Why?
breakup in a way. It's like, oh, you're
Yeah.
not gonna text me every day? Like, who
You
else
don't
do
care
I
about
talk
me?
to
You hate
now?
me?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like what we were talking about in our music episode where it's just like like having cancer is being in a toxic relationship. Like, yes, it's great that you drop it and you get out, but at the same time, uh, there's still that part of you that's missing and it's going to take some time to heal.
Yeah.
And so you want people who understand that you need that time to heal. And I think one of the best ways that you can help kind of maintain your friendships is by communicating with the people that you really want to stay in touch with. So you kind of already do, the mental rundown of, okay, this person has been here for me, but it kind of bothers me when they do this, but I really care about them. What's a really nice way for me to say, hey, I feel like sometimes you walk a little bit, quickly when we're going out somewhere, and sometimes it's hard for me to keep up. Would you mind slowing down when we walk a little bit? And they'll be like, yeah, that's great. Sometimes it's as easy as that. Other times it's like, hey, I really need support right now. I know that you're busy, you're going through a lot, but is there any way that we can talk at a point soon? And you can say when, they can say when, you can set a time to talk about whatever's going on in your life. And it's just all about communication, really. And yeah, I just,
Communication even when it's hard.
yes.
Communication even when you feel depressed and, like, magnetized to your bed and you don't even wanna look at your 200 unread messages.
Mhm.
Something that I've learned in therapy is something called opposite action. So I'll do a little therapy teaching moment for you guys.
Please do.
Um, so if you are feeling sad, right, your urge is to kinda isolate yourself. Stay in bed, don't go out of the house. But what's really important is to do the opposite of that, which would be to get social, go outside, text your friends. So if you're having like a rough day and your urge is to just isolate and withdraw, you should really push yourself, even though it's hard and you've been through a lot this past year or however long you've been fighting. Um, it's important to push yourself and to maintain relationships because, like Mia was saying, having a social support network is so important and has been proven
So helpful.
help survival rates. Like that's
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. I would also say, I'm not sure if I'm allowed to plug it, but looking at universities that have like disability offices,
Mhm.
like even if people can't relate to you
Most
from
should.
having a certain cancer, at Villanova they have level, which is like level a playing field for people of all abilities. And there's people that you can relate to. Like I got a really good friend with cerebral palsy. I have another friend that is pretty severely autistic, and there's like quite a few that I have in my group, and they all have their own individual thing that affects them, but you're able to all talk about it a different way and be there for each other. But I also know that some people that are part of the group felt like they didn't find that at any other school because some schools are really supportive of that and some schools aren't. So, like looking at universities of just having a support system for all those
Yeah.
people and having the mental support system, because even if there aren't people that are always going to be there for each other, you know, if you're paying a lot of money to go to college,
Yeah.
I feel like that should be there. They should be able
Right.
to do that. But yeah.
Yeah. Colleges with great disability um, services or it depend on the campus on what they call it. Sometimes they say something else. Um, at UW it was disability services and resources. I think it was DSR,
Mm.
and we had like a whole hangout space. There was like a whole
Yeah.
hangout space that was in the same area as the disability office that you would go to, like to ask for accommodations. And you could do everything online too, like through email and stuff like that. But it's kind of nice to have an in-person space. And what I did was, and again, this is going to depend on where you go to school. You know, if you're going to college, joining a sorority ended up saving me. This was pre-cancer. I was going to the University of Washington in Seattle. I didn't know anyone. I was really nervous, and I ended up with like pretty much 180 or however many girls are in the house. Or when I say in the house, I mean like in the organization, not living in the house. There was about
Oh,
90
I
of
was
us
gonna
in
be
the
like,
house.
Was
wow,
like that
180 in
is
one house.
90 is still a lot, trust me, but it's nice constantly being able to like you can be in your room by yourself if you want to, but um when I was diagnosed again, because I went back for a quarter, so I took a year off for my initial treatment. I did MAP. They were like, "Hey, you're good now." I apologize for my cat. And they're like, "You're good now." I went back to school. They were like, "Just kidding, you're not good. Please come back winter break." And so I was like, "All right, I'll make the best of, these 10 weeks." And when I got back, there was a package waiting for me. And it was notes from every single girl in the sorority.
oh, that's so sweet.
And they planned it as a surprise, but I was having a bad day, so my mom ruined the surprise. Uh, 3 of my sorority sisters are flying out for my birthday. So, which is next month, which is very exciting. And you can keep long distance friends, and sometimes long distance friends are the friends that you want to have when you're going through treatment because even though they're not physically there, they usually can talk whenever you want. And it's a little bit more like fun, like, oh, this is a person I can't see very often or that I don't talk to very often. Let me make sure I maintain that relationship.
It's always those like long distance friends where like you don't talk for months and you have a really bad day and they're like, all right, let's hop on a call. It's like 6 hours of
Yeah,
dropping tea on like everyone from high school that you haven't seen in like
that's what you
years.
need.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's about balancing, you know, pre-cancer and post-cancer or during like it's about balancing friends who are, from your you know, cancer time and friends from high school, friends from middle school, childhood friends, family friends, it doesn't matter. People have known you a really long time who know you for you. It's a little weird when you have to kind of teach them who the new you is. Hopefully they're, there for you, but obviously in cancer time, Cancer time is completely different than reality time because cancer time either moves really quickly or really slowly. And so a few months to some people can seem fast if you haven't talked, but to you, you could have had 7 traumatic incidents happen.
Mhm.
And suddenly this is a trigger and that is a trigger and you have new boundaries. And so it can be difficult, to communicate that to people, but that, kind of just comes back around to having that balance of cancer friends who get it so you can talk to them, like through MIB. I can always hit up either of you and be like, "Ugh, I'm waiting for my scans. This sucks. I'm anxious. I'm nervous." And then we'll like send each other memes and do stupid stuff. It's like that's what you need in that moment. But other times, like Vicky said, you just want to talk shit about the people you went to high school with. And that's what your high school friends are perfect for. And even if you just have one, and even if you just hang out with someone for 20 minutes when they're in town, it doesn't matter. Just when you put in the effort, it will come back to you tenfold as long as you're putting your effort into the people who truly care and see you for who you are. That is the end of my long rambling
Period.
workaround to communication, and people who care about you are the ones who are worth investing in.
Yeah.
So I guess when it comes to making new friends, I know Vicky, you started college after you finished treatment. So how like it and it's hard to like disclose like, hey, I had cancer. Like it's a part of my life that you should probably know about, but it's also like awkward to say. So how did that come up for everyone? Like did it come up naturally? Um, like how did that go down?
But yeah, so I would say before coming to college, I was talking to everyone on the texting platforms. Everyone had the Instagram. It's like, do you want a room with me? This is who I am. And I ended up meeting one girl who also had osteosarcoma. And then we would text through our treatments. And then we had the very last one in MAP? Usually takes like 72 hours to clear at
Oh,
least.
methotrexate?
Methotrexate. We had methotrexate the same time at the very end. Then we finished in the same day. And then she just stopped talking to me. And I was like, "Oh, I thought we could room together." And then she's like, "No, I don't want to associate, because you had cancer and like you talk about how you have cancer and like I don't want to be known as a cancer girls." And I was like, I didn't realize like not everyone talks about it. I didn't realize it was that private, but to this day she still gives me side eyes whenever I walk by. So obviously people like that don't want to talk about, but physically, when people see
Bad
me
things
around
happen to bad
campus.
people too.
Yeah. I thought it was crazy though, because I was like, you do have the same like kind of scar as me. So I think maybe things would add up. But if people want to be private about it, like that's their comfort. I'm usually not private about it, which is why I'm on this podcast right now, talking about what's going on. But physically, most people can tell that something is different about me just because I do walk with a cane that is decked out in Villanova merch. Not merch, just like stickers from like every office around campus. So you can usually tell that there's something else going on, and a lot of
Mhm.
people do try to avoid talking to me because it's like, oh, like that looks like personal. Because if someone has a cane, it's like, oh, it must be an injury. So I'll ask them about like what happened versus like a cane or like maybe like like splints in your shoes or something. Like people aren't
Yeah.
going to say anything because they're like, oh, that must be private. But there are some people who will just be like, why do you walk with that? And it's just like
Yeah.
being able to be open and be like, "Oh, not right now, I don't wanna talk about it," but usually I will be pretty open, and people are usually pretty open also to help me as well. Like, if they see that I have a cane, they'll be like, "Oh, let me open the door, let me open the door."
Mhm.
Versus other people, like, see the cane and they're like, you know,
Nope.
like, the side eye on that, but I think it's also different for other people because 'cause I'm not sure if you guys lived either since you didn't have it in your hip, like, the way that I had it in my hip, they disconnected the nerves, so it's kinda like walking on, like, a stilt, but the
Oh,
bottom of it
interesting.
I can feel again. So it's just the way that I walk is very different, and everyone always, like, has a question in their head, if even if they don't say it out loud. I guess, how did you go about continuing your friendships and who you chose to break the news to when you first found out, when you were still in college and you
When I
knew that you would have to
relapsed.
stop treatment? Yeah, like before you posted anything or shared on any stories, just talking to people, like how do you decide and how do you go about that?
So when I relapsed while I was at school, the first friends that I told were my two friends, Jackie and Arlie, that and they were like, "Oh, we're leaving our classes. We're coming to your dorm. Like, we're gonna spend time with you. Like, no questions asked." I think we ordered Domino's that night. Um, I actually also told Anne that day as well. Lovely founder of MIB. And then I think I told you guys, like Mia, Vicky, Kara, before I posted anything publicly, but I think that that speaks to who matters. Like the friends that are understanding, they will get the news. Um, but yeah, I appreciate that question.
I mean, in terms of, telling friends, I thankfully, had so many people who I have so many people who care about me. Um, that it was one of actually the most exhausting parts of being, re-diagnosed or, kind of like, relapsing and is having to call and you're like, who do I call? Who do I text? And it's like, because you want it seem personal, but not too personal. So if it's like family, but they're extended family, or like, do I just do a group text with that part of the family? Like it's so difficult and it's so exhausting during that moment. And you're just trying to process and you realize that you have to start telling people because otherwise they're going to be like, hey, do you want to go get boba and blah blah blah, and you can't just casually be like, actually I'm starting chemo that day. Like it's not like you have to kind of like you need to soften the blow, and so you have to worry about how everyone else is going to react to something that's so emotionally distressing to you.
Mhm.
For
And
me, it was almost easier just like posting it on social media because then everyone knows. And
Yeah.
also, like, another thing is about disclosing to friends. Like, a lot of my friends I found on, like, BU group chat or, like, BU class of 2025, like, Instagram page, and it was in my bio. Like, I think my bio is, like, 9-time cancer fighter, but a Libra. So, like, it's advertised, and I don't they just know. They'll just know. But, yeah.
I think I think vaguely alluding to it slowly over time is also a very good technique. And
Yes.
then if they have questions, they can ask. And if they don't feel comfortable asking questions, then they probably won't.
Right.
So
I like how you're like gentle with it. For me, it's either like, no, I'm fine, I'm fine. All right, breakdown, we're telling everyone. And the next day I'm like, why would I do that? Why now everyone's gonna be sympathy texting me. Ugh,
It'd
but
be like that.
yeah.
It'd be like that. And then I guess, have you guys ever had like any like Ruh-roh Scooby moments of like absolute
Wait.
invalidation? Like being like, oh, my grandma had cancer, or like, oh, I'm praying for you. Like God gives his toughest battles to his strongest soldiers. Like, how do we weed out those individuals?
Technically, I'm the weakest soldier once you get me in treatment. If you told me you're going to war while I'm full of methotrexate pee, like there's no way, like I'm sorry, like that is my weakest point. Like, but you're mentally strong. I'm like,
No, not even
no.
that. Ask my therapist and see all of her notes about me. Just
Yeah.
ask.
Yeah.
Uh,
Definitely a lot weaker after treatment.
yeah. Like, I don't know. I was dancing twice a week, going to the gym 3 times a week, Pilates up to 4 times a week, working out at home on top of that. And
Yeah.
now I am also a stay-at-home child who does nothing except this podcast. So, it's I and I take care of my cats. That's it. I mean, and I hang out with my friends, and that circles it back to friends. Cats are also friends. Get a cat.
Yeah, yeah, that's so
Sponsored
true.
by the cat
Fair.
distribution system. Just get a cat. When in doubt, get a cat. That's what I've been doing,
That's why
and
she
now we're
has
at 5.
5.
5, yeah.
Uh, anyway, um, anybody who ask me about essential oils, just I automatically lose a little bit of respect. I know that they're trying to help. It's
The
hard because people are
sugar.
trying to the
For
sugar thing
sugar.
drives me nuts. Listen to me closely. I will ASMR this. I am bringing the microphone closer to my face. The editors are going to hate me. Okay, please, please stop saying, but the sugar feeds the cancer cells. Everything is sugar. Everything is a carbohydrate. Like, think about it. Like, it's either protein, carbohydrate. Like, everything is technically made of carb. That's our body runs on it. Our entire body runs on it. You're good.
Moment that I was
Oh, yeah.
talking about at the last job meeting. When I went to a party, one of the first that I've been to at Villanova, I was already like maybe 3 or 4 beers in. And then I sit down next to this new girl that I'd never talked to before. And she obviously asked about my cane. And I'm like, yeah, I had cancer. And she's like, oh, actually, like, my dad's gonna die of cancer. Like, he's 8 months or something. And I was like, this is not the time or place, but I'm really sorry that happened to you. And then after that, I just like had to go home because there's some moments for it. Like if none of us are doing anything, we're just chilling out. You want to like talk about it, or someone wants to vent. That's fine. But at the middle of a party on a Friday night, maybe isn't the space for it. But there are some moments where it's you kind of do expect it when you tell someone that you've had cancer and they want to relate to you, but there's other moments where it's like, I wouldn't have said anything if you didn't ask.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like probably that other individual was also intoxicated, and maybe that does not excuse that situation. That is not okay. And I think people are also just they don't know what to say, or like what is always like
Yeah.
a good thing, but that does not that I got the ick from that situation.
It's hard, when you're especially when you're a young adult because people don't expect that. And so when you're going out and your friends are like, "Oh, why are you not dancing with us?" And it's like, "Oh, I got tired because I have all this metal in my leg because I had a bone tumor." And then so it's like you got to go through the whole thing and then it just gets frustrating. So it is very hard, especially in a college setting. Obviously I don't condone going out and partying in high school, but y'all do you. I'm not your parent, but I can't condone anything here. Anyway, but we're young adults and adolescents, and we do silly stuff, and if you want to have a fun time, just go in with the expectation that you're not going to talk about it, kind of mentally prepare for it a little bit. Or if it comes up naturally in a conversation, then you can talk about it if you want to. Sometimes it ends up being refreshing, especially when your walls are down, if alcohol's involved or something like that. um it may actually you may actually unlock something. Please drink responsibly. But um and you're 21. But yeah, it's just making friends in new places. It's also hard with treatment, especially if you're in your 20s. And because so many people go to bars and restaurants and it's like, let's get drinks, and it's like,
Like, no.
I can't drink right now. So I can't, but you know what I mean? Like if you're in treatment, I can't drink right now. Mocktails. Get mocktails, please. They're fun.
Mocktails.
You don't have to have alcohol to have a fun bevy. You know what I mean? Like spice it up a little bit, like you can still go out and hang out with your friends if you're not super immunocompromised. And even, if you can, maybe like pull a 2020, like a March of 2020 Zoom situation, and do like a Zoom happy hour where you all have your little bevy, make your own osTEAo. You don't have to publish it anywhere,
Yes.
but like we're just on Zoom having a conversation, drinking bevies and having a good time as my cat yells in the background. And you know what? That's what friendship is. Anyway, yes, mocktails, so much fun. Just go out and live your life when you can, when you're healthy, but obviously know your boundaries. Don't push yourself too hard. It's such a fine line to walk. And walking is hard for most of
Period.
us.
Period.
I know for the three of us here, but for people with osteo and other places, I know um,
Yeah. If
that
you
just
find a friend that you can have fun with without having to go out once you're 21, definitely stick with that friend because there's
Yes.
a lot of people that just want to go to bars, want to drink, and can't have fun outside of that. But, like, get yourself like a really good board game. Like, I'm working on
Yeah.
my friendship
Cards
bracelet
Against
over here.
Humanity.
We love a
Oh,
Cards
oh
Against
yeah,
Humanity.
Cards
It can
Against
be
Humanity is
chaotic,
great.
like
Oh,
like what's that game, For the Girls?
Yeah,
You don't have to be
yeah.
a girl to play it. It's just chaotic and fun. Go for
yeah,
something chaotic. Get like a what do you meme? You know what I mean?
What do
Like
you
have a
mean?
yeah.
game night, have a PowerPoint presentation night, and you can have people do it virtually too.
Date
So if
night.
you're immunocompromised, yeah, we love it. Who doesn't love a game night? You know what I mean?
Get some
Yes.
boba. Stay in.
Some
Get some
dominoes.
Karaoke
Wawa.
night.
Karaoke night.
Karaoke night could be fun. I mean, with all the dysphonia that comes with chemo,
I mean,
sometimes that can be a little bit tricky. I know,
but
Vicky, I
sometimes
don't
you
know
just
if
want
you
to
sing.
belt out a song like, "This is my fight song.
Yeah.
Take back my life song." Sometimes you just need to that out.
Okay, scratch everything we've said this entire episode. The friend test for cancer is you play fight song, you stay deadpan, you look at the person. That is the test. If they laugh, then they're your friend. Also, go for people who are also slightly traumatized by life because there's no stronger bond than a trauma bond.
Period.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like I feel like that's something that's so refreshing. We're all Gen Z, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm kind of close to the cusp, but I'm still technically Gen Z. I feel like we talk about our mental health so much, which is so nice and so refreshing. And I feel like we're so much more open as a generation. Like HIPAA who? No, HIPAA is very important, but still, like if my friends all know the medications I'm on. And we all talk about it and we all compare and contrast and you'll be like, oh, maybe I should talk to my psychologist about that. And it's just very interesting. It's like, why don't we do that with our physical health as much? Like I feel like we are such an open and progressive generation. Why aren't we more, ability inclusive? Why don't we talk more about people with, you know, immunosuppressant type illnesses and whether it be cancer or, Sjogren's or just anything. We should be able to talk about the things that plague us in a way that isn't always heavy-handed.
I agree.
And so you want the people who you can kind of have fun with. You just want someone who matches your energy when that energy needs to be matched. And again, having someone who can just sit on the couch and watch stupid TV with you want to watch Selling Sunset for 8 hours and you have a friend who will do that with you, do that. Because that is healing. That is self-care. Watching trashy TV is self-care.
Yes.
What Okay, let's go around. What is your favorite thing when you need cheering up if something crazy health-wise has happened or you get scanktious or what do you do with your, let's say, a newer friend? What would you want to do?
Order Domino's pizza. Exemplified when I relapsed in on March 1st of 2023.
Yeah, what would you want to do with your friends? Like if you had had a bad day, somewhat cancer specific, say that you lost someone in the community, or like what would you want to cheer you up? What would you want to do with your friends?
It would definitely be like ice cream, something cheesy, maybe like a pizza or mac and cheese, and then I'd cry and we'd go on TikTok together.
That sounds
That
like a great night.
sounds like my ideal night.
I would say like a great night with my friends, like after a hard day, would totally be, up that alley. Like maybe even like a prehistoric planet. Like just get really lost in like some sort of nature documentary, because then you're like, whoa, the universe, it's beautiful, and you kind of have a sense of awe, and then suddenly you appreciate something bigger than yourself.
Mhm.
Because I feel like when you're in that moment, when you're in your emotions, you feel small. You feel like it's like, wait, I'm actually part of, these are, some creatures that lived millions and millions of years ago. It's very cool to see that there are still living creatures today who've gone through mass extinction events and, live in these harsh climates, and like we can do this. It kind of gives you a little bit of hope. It's nice.
Do you know the 20-minute Netflix? It's like explained.
Oh, I don't think I've
There's
seen
like some documentary series. I remember so vividly, like you saying that. What's like the chemo that's part of the map? And you just feel so terrible, but it's only for the first few. They don't have it at the end.
Cisplatin.
Cisplatin or
I remember
Dobson?
coming home from Cisplatin and just putting that on the TV show. Mom's like, "Do you want to talk?" I'm like, "No, we just need to watch TV and go to sleep. That's all we can do right now." Yeah,
No, you just need, I call it slump time.
yeah.
It's not a
Just
nap.
make
Sometimes you
the
just need to
hours
lay
pass.
down in the dark on your phone or watching TV or something like that, or with a book or whatever you want to do. Like reading's a great escape. It's always a good one. Book clubs and stuff are out there. I don't know, join a college club. I don't
So
know.
many opportunities to make friends.
What do kids do these days?
The kids do.
Just TikTok.
Just TikTok.
TikTok.
Just find your friends on
Just
TikTok.
yeah, yeah. There's actually a lot of friends on TikTok with osTEAo. I don't know if you
Yeah.
guys get a lot of requests.
I get a
but-
lot.
I don't get a ton
Yeah.
of them, because I don't go on TikTok that often.
Yeah.
But I do see them, like I'll see Camille's TikToks, like I'll
Yeah.
see, Kara's.
Yeah.
But Kara is always funny. And Camille's always funny too, but Kara's.
This is proof that MIB and helps you make friends, right?
MIB does totally help you make friends. They have the gamer agents, but
Yeah.
really just being on the junior advisory board. I
Yeah.
know applications are coming up by the time that this is posted, and I did it for 2 years and I loved it. Vicky was president. Camille is the incoming president. Let's just go with
president, which will be
I was on the
announced soon.
junior advisory board for 2 years and loved it, and it was a great way to bond with these wonderful people who are with me today.
And on that note, thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in to osTEAo, the osteosarcoma podcast.
Slightly unhinged start to the season, but we love it.
Extremely unhinged start to the season, but we have some exciting stuff in the works for you guys.
Yeah, they do.
But yeah, we've been your hosts, Camille,
Mia.
Vicky?
and our guest, Vicky. And until next time, that's the tea.